Ladies and gentlemen, it is such a privilege and an honor to have the iconic N.R. Narayanamurthy here with us at the CNBC TV 18 Global Leadership Summit. And for me personally, he has been a mentor. I did my first interview with him about 20 years ago, and we've had an interview pretty much every year since then. I've been part of all the milestones that Infosys clocked, and so we're very, very happy, Mr. Murthy, that you could join us here on a very important milestone that we're clocking here today. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Well, Shireen, I've always treated you like I treat my daughter Akshata. So you are special, and therefore attending this event and having conversation with you is, of course, an absolute privilege and a pleasure and pride. Thank you.
The privilege and pleasure is all mine, sir. So let me start by talking to you about the next 25 for India. As you look at where we stand today, Mr. Murthy, and there is a lot of hope, there's a lot of optimism, what is your prescription for the road ahead, the next 25 for India, the Narayan Murthy notes?
Thank you. Well, you know, we have done reasonably well in the last 30 years. And in the last 10 years, we have acquired a new confidence, a new hope, a new sense of energy. For example, in my own middle-class locality where I live in Bangalore, Jayanagar, I see new restaurants coming up, small restaurants, new barber shops, new fitness salons, street vendors selling apple, oranges, peas, capsicum, etc., etc. These are not things that we used to see earlier. In other words, there is a reasonable disposable income in the hands of the urban middle class. At the same time, India has huge challenges. First of all, before I say that, let me say this. I am running 79 years. No, it's very important to say I am elder to most politicians and definitely much elder to all bureaucrats. So whatever I say is with a sense of affection and admiration. And it's not criticism. I don't know how long I will live. My friend Ratan went away a few weeks ago. Therefore, I have no vested interest in whatever I say. All that I want is to see an India which has fulfilled the dreams of our founding fathers. Anyway, having said that, I say that at the same time, you see 800 million Indians receiving free rations. You see free electricity being given. You see free bus rides being given. While you look at it from one perspective, these are all good things, but another perspective says that while urban India is making rapid strides, there is a large part of India that has not benefited from all the wonderful globalization that we have had. So therefore, the need of the day for us is to focus on job creation. Primarily low-tech job creation, because most of these people who are on ration or people, they cannot take up jobs in the software industry or whatever it is. So the focus has to be on low-tech job creation. And number two, given that the disposable income of India is rather low, therefore, we have to focus on exports. Like China did, and like Vietnam is doing now, and like a few other nations in East Asia are doing. because that's the only way you can create large number of jobs, and that's the only way you can put some disposable income in the hands of people. And that's the only way that secondary and tertiary industries, like what Harsha was saying, that all this Swiggy and all of that, they can indeed take off. And that obviously is export oriented. What that means is we have to become nimble. We have to learn from our competitive countries. We have to take quick decisions. We have to get to a level of excellence in everything that we do, definitely a higher level of excellence. How do we do it? You know, a lot of my European and American friends tell me that it is time for India to move from an administrative mindset to a management mindset. They tell me that administration is all about status quo. On the other hand, management is all about vision, high aspiration. It's about achieving the plausibly impossible. It is about cost control. It is about raising the confidence of people. It is about making things happen quickly and being very competitive. It's about learning from our competitors, etc. So maybe Prime Minister Modi, who has done a brilliant job so far in terms of accelerating our economy, all of that, may want to look at whether we need more of managers in the government rather than administrators. And to do that, they perhaps may want to look at, rather than the current method of having some, whatever it is, some 3-4 subjects, examination, etc. for the IAS, he may want to look at selecting people from the various management institutes, bringing them into the government. I hope the opposition won't have much objection, like they have already raised. Bring them into the government. First, get them trained at Mussoorie on decision-making under uncertainty, on facing the competition, on creating competitive advantages, on being open-minded to learn from people who have performed better than us, on strategic thinking, on simulation, on workflow management, on project management, and other management techniques. My request at this old age is that Prime Minister Modi takes a decision to convert the administrative mindset to management mindset, take more and more managers and give them opportunity to bring speed, imagination, and excellence in decision making and in implementation in the public governance system. I believe India will then accelerate even more, because he has a very laudable, very visionary objective, which is to reach $50 trillion by 2047. I think we are all with him. I think we want it to happen. We will do whatever he wants us to do. But without a very efficient, effective, agile, open-minded public governance system, that may be somewhat difficult.
So, since you're talking about moving from an administrative mindset to a management mindset as far as governance is concerned, let me ask you, Mr. Murthy, Donald Trump has decided to appoint Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to head a commission or a committee which will work with the government, not part of the government, but with the government to look at efficiencies across all government functions. Do you believe that that is something that we should experiment with?
You know, I don't know because, of course, Donald Trump is now going to be the president, so it is not proper on my part to comment. Certainly, he knows much more than I do about his country. But I do think that reducing government, reducing latency of action, reducing fat, reducing inefficiency, they are good whether it's America or India or Timbuktu. That's all what I can say.